I'm over it, it's been 2 days. Hello everyone and welcome back to my new video. As you already see by the title, this vlog will be dedicated to my exams, and of course I will show you everything we've been doing in this semester. If this is the first video you are watching and you don't know me at all, I'm currently doing my master's degree in Venice at Univesity IUAV of Venice. So this is my second semester and now we had 6 exams. I will tell you later about what was mandatory, what wasn't, how did we do some exams, because I already had 4 exams. So today I have 1 and in 3 days I have another one. These 2 that are left are only projects, and one I've been doing in a group and another one I'm doing alone. So today I have this exam that I did alone, and now I'm just gonna go and present and we will see how that goes. Now I will take you to my exam and then we will talk later about everything else. I'm finally back home and I'm melting. It's 100 degrees everywhere I go. Also in my room I have air conditioning, but I can't turn it on and off whenever I want. It's automatic. At university it doesn't exist. And also outside it's super hot because I'm constantly walking. So I can't wait to finish another exam and then just every day to go to the beach, but that's something we will do in the next vlog, not in this one. I finished the exam and I got maximum points, which is amazing, especially because I did it all alone. Some people did it in groups of 2 or 3, but I chose to do it alone. It was like a short presentation, maybe 10-15 minutes, something like that, and then we had a break from 12 until 2, like a lunch break that Italians always do. It's usually 1 hour, but since now I had 2, I just came home and ate my lunch, and then I went back and listened to some groups also that were presenting, and later I just took a walk and here I am. Now the only thing I can do is just sleep, so I will take a nap and then maybe later in the evening I will work on another project. I actually have to finish just some details, maybe 2 or 3, like construction details. We almost finished. I would say around 90% is finished, so I guess tomorrow we can finish it completely and then print the day after, and then in 3 days actually is exam. But first I want to show you this one that I did today, so keep watching if you're interested. First I will tell you a little bit about the project in general, and then I will tell you about my idea. As for the project, we got this hill that is near Milan and we had 14 locations on it that we could choose. So we had to make a chapel on it, and for me personally chapel means something that is connected to religion, but this wasn't the case. So this could be even like a small pavilion or whatever we wanted. It's just that we called it a chapel. And also the whole semester we had lectures on light artists and how is light used in architecture. It was supposed to be a light chapel, let's say light pavilion, so we were supposed to find one artist and his work that will be hosted in our chapel. Not literally hosted, but let's say we were supposed to make something as a reference from something we've seen in lectures. Basically, each of these points is on the flat road, so they are very similar and we had to choose one, so I chose number 5. But as you can see here in this section, path is completely straight, so it was basically our own choice if we want to make something on it or go into hill or under or whatever we wanted. It was like acceptable. This first panel was basically just as an introduction and about the location a bit. Then on the second panel I put a few references that are connected to my idea. So this first reference up here that you see is Rodencrater by James Turrell, and this specifically is just one part of this whole project. He's a very famous light artist. If you haven't heard about him, maybe you can Google and find about it more if you are interested. But because I wanted wanted to do something with different frames and LED lights, this was something similar to my project, so this is why I chose this reference. Here I have from Zaha Hadid Architects one interior design, which also kind of looks similar to what I made, but you will see that later. And also here we have light installation from the Frankfurt-based Light Festival from 2014. So this page, as I said, was more of like inspiration and references from some other artists. Moving on to my project finally, and my main idea is to make the chapel of colors. Of course, if I have freedom to do whatever I want, I will do some organic shape, as you can see here. So in this upper part, you can see top view of my structure, how it slightly goes into the hill and then comes out. And you can see in plan view that it's actually just a passage where you are going through it. On the right side are some sections where you can see how the chapel goes left and right into the hill. So this pavilion consists of almost 130 frames that are twisted around one curve that is set on the ground. From the outside is completely white, and in the inside all these frames are basically covered with LED light that are now showing different colors as you pass through it. So on next panel I actually have explained this whole philosophy behind colors, because each color can cause different psychological reaction in a visitor, but passing through this pavilion they can experience their own change of emotions and reactions as they reach next color, which could be very interesting, and I would personally like to visit something like that also. So here we have some axonometric view, how is it looking next to the hill, and down here we have this perspective render that is actually inside the hill looking on both sides. Next also we have some perspective view with landscape and some 3D section up here that was needed just to show how it is interacting with the ground around it. And at first my idea was to go down and up, but then I realized that if I go left and right I can somehow make a better connection with the surroundings, which in the end I did. Another render down here, and the final panel with renderings also. Down here you can see how it looks like in the daylight. Up here is in a night light, because it's also reflecting from the inside. And here we have another render from the interior. I'm very happy how these panels turned out, because I really love doing these graphics and panels, and it's also like one of my favorite parts of doing the project, because yes, I love also doing drawings, but in the end I like when it looks pretty. And it's definitely my first time that I was rendering. I did it in Lumion and it actually turned out really good. I don't know, let me know what you think. Now I just briefly want to show you how I made this structure, because some of you have asked me already on Instagram when I posted some stories. I did a curved line of how I wanted to look in the top view, and then I actually saw where it is good to enter the hill and where it's good to exit, so it ended up looking something like this. And then I just made basically a rectangle and I extruded. After that I just twisted the whole thing. I did it between 0 and 360 degrees. So in the end I just placed that whole structure around my curve. And then to obtain these frames you can just select the thing and then click on contour and beginning and the end of your curve, and then it will basically make these frames as you can see now. Some of them will not follow the curve perfectly. As you can see here is just this small point, it's not the full frame, but you can adjust it later or just try with another curve and see what works for you. So in the end I just selected everything and extruded for a bit. I of course then colored them as I wanted, put them in different layers, and you can even see here the effect that I wanted to achieve. And in the end I put it in Lumion. As I said, for the first time ever I used Lumion. I really never rendered in this program, but it's very easy to use. I just put lights inside wherever I wanted them. I colored them differently, and then when I wanted to render I added some effects. You can change here from night to daytime or whatever you want. It's very easy to use, so even with one tutorial I think that you can figure everything out. And that is it for this project and this little tutorial. I hope it was helpful, but if not, of course there are so many better tutorials on YouTube that you can watch. And write me down what you think about my project. I'm really interested to hear. Now I'm going to take a nap, and then tomorrow probably I will tell you a bit more about the previous exams, but until then, Enjoy and good luck on your exams also. I'm currently on my coffee break, so I wanted to tell you briefly what we've been doing this whole semester as I promised. As I previously said, I took 6 exams this semester, but only 3 were mandatory. So besides all the subjects that we have like mandatory, we need these 8 credits to achieve additionally. And usually one of these elective subjects is 4 credits, so you have to take 2. But the good thing about these elective subjects is that you only have fail or pass, so no grade. And it's usually something easier, like not a big project or something, so you can, let's say, easily pass it and achieve those credits. So for me, these 2 subjects were Italian class and Rome Urban History and Architecture. For Italian class, we had 3 levels. It was beginners, A1, A2 and B1. So I chose to go to B1 as I previously said in my videos. I know Spanish, so understanding Italian is very easy for me, and I wanted to improve also my communication skills. But it wasn't really the case because it was so many people in the class, and for me personally, I can learn language the best if it's up to 5 or 6 people. About Rome class, that professor in the beginning told us that we can take also another subject that he's giving, and that subject is mandatory, but it's next year. So in the end I actually took both of them because it's easier maybe to finish now and then to have more free time in the next semester. I don't know, we will see. In the beginning, each person got a building that they needed to research later. For example, I got one arc that is famous in Rome, so I had to go to library and research about it, find some books, find references and everything I can about that building. We didn't know in the beginning what will exactly be the exam, but we knew that it will be something about that building or arc in my case. And then in the end, for the Rome class, we had to do a video about it. It was just like a little documentary, and because it's like fail or pass, basically whatever you do in a video and whatever you write, I mean, everyone basically passed. We didn't need to make a History Channel documentary. It was pretty easy and it was around 2 minutes. But then for this other subject that it was the same professor as I mentioned, we used the same building, but just it was writing a paper, which again wasn't so hard because we only had one A4 page to write. But on the other hand, then if it's less text, you need to include only important things. And the last subject that I didn't mention was also theoretical, and it was History of Contemporary Architecture. So that one was really fun because professor was always giving us some interesting lectures, and in the end he gave us like a video of interview with some architect that we needed to listen and then do a presentation about it. So we got Philip Johnson. So we worked in a group of 4, and then in the end we realized that we wanted to make something interesting for presentation. So I will show you now our final slide here. And also that exam was made, as he mentioned, like for us also to get to know some architects and to go through some topics that maybe we didn't have the time to go through throughout the semester. And we got 30L, which is maximum, so I'm very happy about it. So that's it from this semester. Only studio is left, of course, but I will tell you about it when I finish it. I'm not sure if I will update you tomorrow immediately after the exam because I don't know at what time we will finish. See you later then. Hello! Today is finally my last exam, and you can see how happy I am because it's over today. I will try to show you even other people's project if it's possible. Behind me you can see the model I've been talking about in my previous video, because you know that I laser cut this in Belgrade and then my mom sent me by bus and then I took it, so now it's done and ready for the exam. I just have to say it's not the best model I've ever made, but it's fine and it's not mandatory, so in the end we didn't even have to do it. I hope it will arrive safe though, because I have like 10 bridges to reach my university. If I fall, model falls too. I will talk to you later. Ciao! I just want to explain a bit deeply for those of you who are interested in our project. This semester studio was mostly interior design and creating exhibition in an existing church. So like the first semester, again, we had 3 professors grading us. One was for construction, second one was for exhibition, and the third one was for systems like heating, cooling, light, and ventilation. So let's start first with the location and our main idea. This church was actually next to our university in Venice, so you can see here that it's U of University, and here is the church Santa Teresa. Here we have some references and inspiration for our display cases and our project in general, also some sketches that we did. And here you can see that our main idea was to make a spiral ramp in the middle of the church, and it's not symmetrical, so it goes left and right to the certain walls of the church, which you will see later in renders and probably in sections. Here we have plan view, and as you can see, we got also the models that we need to exhibit and drawings. So we decided to put the drawings on the ramp, and other models are usually on the ground floor. So as you can see, we numbered each one and wrote what is where. Moving on to second level, this is how our ramp looks like. And basically these floor plans now are just showing different levels of the ramp and also the drawings that you can see when you are walking in that part. And this is the top view of the ramp. So you can see that our ramp has these vertical elements where we actually decided to hang our drawings like this. So for that material we chose metal pipes out of copper. The reason why we used copper also is to match some colors on the existing church. So we have 3 sections depending on which side we are cutting from. Here is a little plan with cutting lines, and then you can see actually where we cut it. And then we have some renders. We actually didn't get the model of the church, so few of us were working together on it. And then when we got it, my friend just did every material in 3ds Max. For the ramp, I did it in Rhino, and then I gave it to her to import in 3ds Max also. So all materials and renders are done from that program. To me personally, these renders look really cool and I love how they turned out. Here you can see better maybe what's some atmosphere from the ramp and how these drawings are hanged and how do they look like. And then also some other spaces of the ramp and ground floor. Here we have some details of display cases. You can see that we have 3 different types. So depending on what is exhibited, like a smaller model or a drawing or big model, we chose different types. Here are also some diagrams for lighting. These are the details for the display cases on the ramp. Then we have details of different parts of the ramp and how is that all connected. Also the elevator, because we decided to have this push elevator because we couldn't hang anything on the ceiling. Also here is the connection between the ramp and elevator, and this is actually our column, because you could see in renders, just a second, that columns are covered in polished steel. So this mirror effect and reflection is somehow hiding them in space. The whole idea is to make something very light and transparent in space so that you can basically see through it and it's not hiding any spots of church. Then we have some photos of our physical model, and then in the end we have this building physics and energy system that I was telling you about. Here is a scheme of lights and how do they look in different levels, and basically what type of light we would use where. Here we have some heating and cooling systems, and in the end we just put it in our plan view to show how is it actually connected and where is the air going, where is it coming in, out. And in the end we just did a diagram for acoustics depending on materials that we used, and then we calculated how much now is the echo in the room and everything regarding to the sound. So that is it for our project. In the end I liked how it turned out. I don't know if you like it or not, but for me it's interesting, and every time I do a project I'm actually considering would I like to go to visit something like this. So this is definitely like exhibition that I would like to visit, and it would be very interesting to see something like this. That's my own opinion and that's what I think. So let me know what you think about our project and if you would visit it actually if it existed. 2 days later, and I'm so sorry this vlog lasts for so long, but if you are interested it's probably a bit more fun than for someone who is not interested in architecture at all. So in the end we got 26, which is kind of bad for Italian standards. They grade you from 18 until 30. 25, 26 is something in the middle, but I guess above 25 it's like fine. In general, they were pretty strict to everyone. Not so strict actually, but I wouldn't say I'm so satisfied with this subject in the end, because first of all, I told you we have 3 professors. One professor that is like the main one basically for this exhibition, he showed up 3 times in the whole semester. For this part where it's building physics, we had so many consultations, so that part was okay. But also for construction, we didn't get so much help from them, because this ramp was, as you could see, not perfectly spiral, so we had to figure out how to make it stable without putting so much columns and so many things that would maybe make our project look ugly in this church. So basically, when we were struggling with this construction, this professor told us just go to library and research, and we did. Basically, we found so many books on steel constructions. We didn't find anything for the ramp or anything similar to our project. We kind of made it up, but like for sure it was stable like that. And then in the end he told us like, this can't be made like this, blah blah blah. I mean, first of all, okay, of course we all finished bachelors, but some people really didn't have so much construction subjects in their bachelors like I did. I mean, even with my knowledge, we did something very simple, so I didn't know how to like find a solution for this ramp. So I was trying so hard also to find some references and everything online, and even with all that we were kind of struggling. So if I have a professor, I expect him to tell me at least where I can find something, or at least like, you don't need to draw a perfect detail for me, but I expect some kind of help, which I don't feel like we got enough. So in the end we were satisfied with like our results and what we did, because we achieved it alone without them. And even that exhibition professor told us, I don't think this is the perfect solution for this kind of exhibition. And I was like, why didn't you tell us that 2 months ago? Because I wouldn't do the ramp. I don't know what's the good solution for the exhibition, because this is my first time I'm doing this. Can you just tell me in the beginning, ramp is not a good solution, don't do it? And they didn't tell us. I'm just not even disappointed or surprised, because we went through hell in the last semester, so I really didn't expect anything like 30 or 29 or anything. They don't grade us by the hard work that we did. They grade us by some, I don't know, their standards that they put. Of course there are people who got 30 and 29, but it's maybe 2, 3, 4 groups who got like 29 and 30. Other than that, my group actually got the good grade, because so many people got like 22, 23, 24, which is not so good. UAV is amazing with grading, and with studio, the best university ever. And I mean, I really come from university where professor sits with you and draws on your papers and helps you so much, so that you know that you are going somewhere and you're getting like how much you work, that much you get. And this is like, you can work so much and still don't get the good results, which then I don't think it's my fault, because how can I know that something is wrong if you don't tell me before? That's just my point. But anyway, like, I'm over it. It's been 2 days. Other than that, I mean, I don't care, because honestly I love this project and we had an amazing time, me and these 2 girls who worked together. So I hope you like this video, and I hope it will be maybe helpful if you're planning to come to UAV. Just don't have any expectations, please, because it's not worth it, and work hard for yourself. They're not gonna appreciate it anyways. I'm satisfied with my work. I like what I did, and that is enough. Thank you so much for watching this video and following me through this exam period journey, and I will see you soon in a next video where we are on vacation. Hugs and kisses from Venice. Ciao!